Hello, good evening and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Nicole, the Ocean Product Manager for Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore, and I will be your host for today's webinar, Transforming to the New Better in Chemical Supply Chain. Maersk is an integrated container logistics company connecting and simplifying trades to help our customers grow and thrive. Welcome back to returning participants from the last chemical webinar we held in October 2020. At that time, we spoke on concepts of resilience and the way to attain it. A year on, we are now looking at a new battle where resilience is an integral part of the supply chain. In today's sessions, our focus will be on the practical approaches in rolling out resilience in your supply chain. We will hear from our expert speakers and panelists, discussion zooming into two key solutions, the hub in transit and trade lanes, followed by a demo to better visualize the user experience, and finally, a questions and answers session. Please do share your questions and comments in the chat box throughout. I'll bring them up during the sessions, and we will also have time for the questions at the end. So your engagement is highly appreciated. Today, the topics will be presented by our panel speaker, Patrick Orr, Global Vertical Head of Chemical, Ian Kor, Associate Director for Chemical Vertical Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore, Samuel Lim, Regional Head of Trade Lanes Asia Pacific, Boha Diaz, a Business Product Owner for Supply Chain Destination Management, and Kevin Low, Regional Trade Lanes Product Manager for Asia Pac. Can I please invite our speakers to come on screen for a quick hello? Patrick. Thanks. I think you're muted, Patrick. Will you want to try that again?
Yes, and hello and welcome everyone. This is Patrick from Copenhagen. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Ian.
Hi, this is Ian. It's a great pleasure to be back here in continuation from part one where we did last year. Thank you, and speak to you all soon. Yeah.
Thanks, Ian. And you can see Ian is in our Singapore office as he's wearing a mask in compliance with the regulations. Samuel.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Today is already Thursday, coming to end of the week, so relax, and I hope we all learn something from this session. Thank you.
Thanks, Boha.
Hello from the Netherlands. Really looking forward to spend the next minutes with you on these exciting topics.
Thanks, and Kevin.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin dialing in from Singapore. Thank you for having me here today.
Great, it's great to have all of you speaking with us today. So without further ado, let's pass the floor to Patrick, our Maersk Global Vertical Head of Chemical.
Yes, thanks very much, Nico, and I hope I've unmuted myself this time. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar. My name is Patrick Orr, and I'm the head of the chemical vertical at Maersk. I guess we're all operating in testing times where the ability for supply chains to perform is challenged. And at the same time, the importance of the supply chain to the success of your organization has increased. And I guess the outcome of our work together around logistics, around supply chain, is in focus of your C-suite. In short, resilience and the ability to perform despite everything happening around us is vital. Now, to set the scene, please let me recap what was discussed in the previous webinar, Building Resilience in Chemical Supply Chains, held back in October 2020. Last year, we presented 6 pillars required in building supply chain resilience, and you'll see these on the slide here. Today, we'll be addressing solutions for pillars number 4 and 5, nearshoring and visibility. We also identified 4 megatrends in chemical logistics, which resonated with you. And our webinar today will be relevant to number 1, digitization, and 4, agility. And based on those points, we further presented 3 key actions for chemical manufacturers to build supply chain resilience. So really, the first point was to select a dependable logistics partner. And this part was elaborated in the later sections by customer case studies. one for Syngenta and another for a Middle East-based petrochemical customer. And if you're interested, you can visit maersk.com for the recording and presentation. In today's webinar, we will share another customer case study. The second point was to set up a hub closer to your customers. And one of the key solutions we presented was Hub in Transit, where we provide control tower operations and a visibility platform for last mile distribution. And we will address that infamous bullwhip effect, which you see on the right-hand side in the slide, later on in the webinar. So we'll come back to that in our discussions. The third point was to become a resilient partner of your customers. And the key solution we presented here was TradeLens. And that has blockchain and supply chain collaborative aspects on a platform basis. Now, what has changed for you since our last webinar in your organization's business model or supply chain requirements? Are you happy with the pace of change and the progress you've made? I firmly believe that the next 60 minutes will inspire you on what we call the new better in the chemical supply chain. So back to you, Nico.
Thank you, Patrick. Indeed, a very eventful year. Some are foreseen and planned for, but most of us probably did not expect we'll be facing such a disrupted supply chain across all corners of the world 7 quarters after the pandemic is declared. So we see organizations adapting to this situation, some faster than the rest, in having that resilience, agility, and flexibility in your supply chain. So let's discuss how would the new battle look like in a chemical supply chain by zooming into 2 points mentioned by Patrick earlier. Having TradeLens as a seamless platform across supply chain ecosystem and utilizing Hub in Transit, a containerized virtual hub to be closer to your markets. The TradeLens is a joint venture between IBM and Maersk, a digital supply chain platform underpinned by blockchain technology. Globally, we see port operators such as DP World, ICTSI, and Uports support and integrate with TradeLens to improve the operational efficiency with earlier visibility of container flows across multiple carriers. Such visibility includes confirmation of the transport modality that follows the port stay of each container, which in heavy transshipments or rail ports enable better yard planning. The same benefit, the same visibility can be gained and applied to you as a cargo owner of those containers. Let's check with Samuel, our regional head of TradeLens for Asia Pacific. Samuel, can you give us a quick run through on the key functionalities of TradeLens?
Yes, Nico, definitely. And again, good afternoon, everybody. Now, TradeLens is a global ecosystem that provides end-to-end container visibility across multiple carriers. Now, today, TradeLens has over 300 organizations on the platform, spanning across carriers, ports, customs, banks, and more. And they help you connect your supply chain globally from point A to point B. As a digital solution, you can use TradeLens on board your supply chain partners and to digitize your documents and share with them online securely. It also allows you to track different versions of transport plans and files, and even across different service providers or at one place on the platform. Another key functionality is the ability to digitize BL, where on the platform you are able to issue, transfer, and surrender EBLs across your supply chain in a matter of clicks.
Right.
Nicole.
So the key values I hear is the end-to-end visibility across the different players in that supply chain network. There's also documentation security with blockchain technology and the electronic bill of lading capability. So what kind of industry players or businesses would gain the most from using TradeLens? How does these features apply to companies within the chemical sectors?
Now, thanks for the question, Nico. Now, chemical sectors have seen one of the largest uptake with TradeLens. The other sectors that we see are automotive, tech sector, retail, and lifestyles, which are showing strong traction with digital solutions for a one-stop shop visibility solution. In particular, chemical markets are commoditizing in a deflationary environment, and cost-saving transparency has become a key differentiator, especially when demand for customization is high for fine and specialty chemical businesses. TradeLine's ability to provide real-time, on-demand visibility, even for complex scenario, has become essential for end customer satisfactions and business competitiveness. Nico.
Yeah, tell me more here. What are the main pain points of the chemical sector that TradeLines can deliver value on?
Right. Many of our customers are relying on manual methods today to gain visibility of their shipments and rely heavily on emails to share documents and even Excel spreadsheet attachments that sent between different parties. Now, the task is made more complex, much more complex, in fact, tenfold when you have to think about you have multiple supply chains from different ocean carriers and different service providers, all disparate. Now, TradeLine's powerful ecosystem, search engine, and sharing capabilities saves the operational resources, workflow operations, and better data security, accuracy, and at the same time, digitize your supply chain to become future-proof. Chemical markets is experiencing a consolidation in our customers have an incentive to grow their supply chains, however, needed in a scalable manner. TradeLines help accelerate that journey to digitize and allowing you to easily onboard your supply chain partners globally via a one-stop shop and connectivity through our open real-time API, providing you unobstructed visibility over documents and milestones from origin to destination.
I
Nicole.
can certainly attest to how manual and paper-consuming logistic operations can be. I was in the office yesterday, and my colleague was sharing one stack of documents that she had to sign, a bill of lading she had to sign, because that's the requirement of the logistic operations of that particular customers that we have. So indeed, having an electronics version that is shared across all supply chain would be very helpful and efficient. So in these dynamic times, we believe that all supply chain partners need to step up and collaborate with each other for the common end customers you mentioned. How do you see TradeLines could contribute to this supply chain collaboration?
And you are right, Nicole, right on point. In today's world, we must all come together, partners, we must all come together and work towards the common objective of the customer. TradeLines allow you, the shippers, the partners to come together, connect on a single platform, share your shipping information, events, milestones, and trade documents. Essentially, it has become a collaborative environment, sharing real-time single source of truth between you, the shippers, and your partners, such as suppliers, logistic providers, and even consignees.
Right. I'm not quite sure how this works for my business and where it fits into my business objective, but I'm interested to know more. What would be the best way to move forward?
Yes, Nicole, and very simple, all right? And it's already available today. TradeLines offers a 3-month paid trial for interested customers, where you will get opportunity to experience the real-time visibility and seamless document management and collaboration throughout your different supply chains. All you just need to do is to reach out to your Maersk sales account owner or drop us a message and we will get back to you.
Thanks, Samuel. And there you have it. Try it out for 3 months to see if it accelerates your supply chain into the new better. Next, hub in transit is exactly as the name implies, having a hub location to store your cargo along its movement from the point of origin to your final market. Let's move to Bohar, our business product owner for supply chain destination management. Bohar, chemical products are normally raw materials for manufacturers in many different industries, and petrochemical products are by nature made to stock. Could hub in transit also support on lowering the overall inventory?
Thank you, Nico, and that's correct. And hello, everybody again. Aggregating demand in a hub in transit enables a reduction of the overall inventory level. This is done by positioning inventory in a strategically located hub, which can service multiple destination markets as an order fulfillment site. This ensures that orders can be fulfilled and shipments routed to the final markets only when needed, rather than pushing excess of inventory into destination markets, where then those rerouting options would become limited. So by positioning inventory outside of a specific market, the shipper maintains flexibility and can also remove variables like lead times, shortening them and making them more predictable compared to shipping the same orders from the original production site.
Right, I can imagine the hassles that has saved from the last minute change of destination. Right, following up on that, how can we use hub in transit to mitigate the bullwhip effect?
It's a very good question. The bullwhip effect is a phenomenon referring to increasing the swings in inventory as a response to shift in the consumer demand, where then lead time variables like manufacturing or shipping influence the effect. Including a midway node between the production site and its market increases the flexibility to dynamically accommodate changes in demand. It enables to slow down inventory at the hub location when the demand is lower than initially forecasted. And if you need to react, on the other hand, to a demand that is picking up, then you have the flexibility to restock from the hub, reducing the overall lead time. So what we can see is that the hub is absorbing that variability between the demand and the production, and those flows can be equalized. Therefore, bullwhip effect can be smoothened. In a nutshell, it supports companies lowering pressure on production sites as well as destination storage facilities.
Right, I hear that there's an element of equalizing the smoothing out of the cargo flow while catering to that dynamic demand trend, and a reduction in the overall inventory level by aggregating the cargo at a hub which is closer to the end markets. That sounds like a no-brainer. How do we ensure the visibility of the cargo in the entire journey from the origin to the hub, at the storage hub, and at the hub to the final market?
We have learned already from someone that TradeLens offers holistic visibility across the supply chain, the logistics, and that includes the ability to trace shipments, products going through the hubs. Additionally, Maersk Hub in Transit includes a visibility solution, which is managed by our control tower team that empowers shippers and consignees to maintain control and get insights at all stages. From the moment that a shipment is booked until every container is delivered in the destination market, traceability is maintained via an easy-to-understand dashboard, which is powered by event data from multiple sources. Our control tower team monitors every shipment into and out of the hub and ensures that inventory is picked on a FIFO basis, optimizing storage cost, as well as managing the second leg sailing in order to deliver the right product at the required date on the requested destination.
So while a hub in transit setup increase the number of shipment legs or the shipments number in the cargo flow, there is a visibility tools here that allows self-management and control, and also a control tower team to coordinate the flow. So currently ocean freight is increasing without any signs of going down. What would be the best timing? Is it the right timing to change to a hub in transit from that end-to-end cost perspective? So we have Ian as our Associate Director for Chemical Vertical for Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, who talks to our customer every day. So Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I can take these questions. I think to me is that depending on where your demand points are, where your markets that spread across geographically, there's always a good reason, and we can always build a business case to evaluate the hub in transit solution. particularly if you are dealing with very dynamic demands from your destination side or from your demand point, and you have a need to address inventory costs versus the market fulfillment hub. Now, as Nico, as you mentioned, with today all the ocean freight rocketing sky high, there are ports still congested. There are still pockets of different countries having a strike within the ports itself, and many trade lanes are causing huge delays for shippers being able to ship on time. So with hub in transit being able to smooth out the outbound flows and ensuring products they are available in the hubs to satisfy demand is always appealing. Yeah, and with the shorter shorter transit time on the last leg, on the second leg itself, the overall impact to your customer can be further softened. Even with some delays as orders to shipment timeline can be significantly shortened if you try to ship directly from the origin site, which could be far away. This means improving your OTIF, your on time in full service level. Back to you, Nico.
Right. The hub in transit here is that resilience in the physical movement, the storage of the cargo. Trade lens is on the visibility and e-documentation of the flow of the whole supply chain. We discussed supply chain collaboration earlier, which is essential for the new barrel, especially for the chemical supply chain, being the raw material supplier for 96% of manufactured goods. How can we tie these two together for the supply chain collaboration?
Okay, so let me take this opportunity now to kind of showcase a particular Argentina-based petchem producer and how we help them to improve their speed to market to the Asia Pacific market in this case. Now, of course, due to NDA, I shall only use a fictitious company name and fictitious volume. Even having said that, today we are partnering with multiple large polymer producers in Latin America, over in Saudi, US, Europe, in managing their final order fulfillment through this hub in transit model. So for the purpose of illustrating this particular case study, let me name this producer as Latin Polymer Inc., which is a large Argentina-based petchem producer with their cracker plant based in Argentina, of course. The plant produced about 1.6 million of metric tons of polymer per year, and 30% of these 1.6 million tons are sold into the Asia market, particularly into China, Japan, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia. So for that 30% of the 1.6 million tons, I'm sure many of you would have already equate in your mind. This would mean about 20,000 40 footers that will flow from Argentina into Asia markets. And the average transit time on water from Argentina to Asia, it takes at a range of between 25 to 35 days, depending on where's a transit port. This means you will take probably about more than a month to fulfill your orders. Yeah. Now, although the pandemic has brought much disruption to the global supply chain, we do see a rise in consumer products as in the economic confidence is still going up on a high. So consumer products such as masks and gloves, where polypropylene is part of the material used. So in this particular surge in demand, Latin Polymers was unable to react to customer requests for shorter lead time. So that result in loss of sales, that result in loss of market shares, and there was a compelling need for Latin Polymer to optimize their supply chain network to reduce the orders lead time. And they knew it is impossible to do this with status quo, with direct shipment from Argentina to Asia. So they can't react to the orders in time. So partnering with us, with Maersk, we of course jointly worked out the business case in setting up 2 regional hubs to fulfill the Asia market, the Asia Pacific market. So we set up one in Singapore and one in Malaysia. So let's take a look at how this hub in transit visibility and dashboard looks like to you. So Kelvin, you want to come in now, Kelvin? Kelvin, I'll mute Kelvin.
Thank you, Ian. So
Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Kevin again, and today I'll be guiding you through our product demos. Let us start with what happens behind the scenes of your shipment journey with the hub in transit solution that Boha talked about. So we begin by looking at the overarching dashboard, which is what we're looking at. And this is the tool and interface that the Hub Control Tower team uses. As you can see from these menu options, there are different views available to the team. However, we will quickly take a look into a couple of them now. Let's start with the Hub Inventory dashboard over here. Let's wait for it to load a little bit. And this view essentially provides us a real-time illustration of the inventory at the various hubs that we manage, in this case in Singapore. So we organize the data based on location, material, ocean carrier, and carrier's equipment, which always allows us and the control tower team analysts to remain informed to make better decisions on where you're deciding to fulfill your new order from. So we start by monitoring shipments from the booking at the first stage, which is the origin port, and track them into the intended hub. The shipments are marked in the carrier system for long-term storage, and the hubs manage the container moves to ensure that the shipper's instructions, the SIs, are carried out as requested. The team then follows up to ensure that no instructions are overlooked in this entire process. And whatever that happens here, we always keep a close watch on, especially for container aging at the hubs. We want to ensure that you can always see how long each load of material has been in storage. This dashboard also highlights the number of days that the container has been in storage and also the number of containers by the material code itself. So let's just click over here. And this essentially will let you have a better control over the final inventory costs. And when we receive the order for your next outbound departure, we're able to recommend and assign the longest standing material for the next sailing. Moving on, let's see over here. It is part of the hub team's responsibility to really provide visibility on the cost of the material storage. And this becomes particularly important when the material is sold from the hub. And our view here shows the cost of the material calculated by the metric ton and on the container level as well. This lets you set the right price for the new order and consider the actual cost, including storage. So by toggling these different filters on this left-hand side, as you see now, we can select one or more different material codes to calculate the current impact of the storage by material, as well as zoom in onto any particular record on the screen. So we can see that there's the D&D cost over here, the count of containers that are being moved through the hub. And what we can see is really some granular data on all of this information. So upon receipt of an order or an instruction from the shipper to make the second leg booking, the hub team will essentially coordinate with the carrier and hub to prepare the shipment to the final destination. Shipping instructions and documentation can be coordinated by the team, and that you can be rest assured. The final responsibility of the control tower team is really to monitor the shipments from the hub until our final destination, in this case somewhere in Southeast Asia, and then make sure it's delivered as intended. Providing end-to-end visibility and performance management are just some of the many value-adding services that our team provides to our customers. And now that we know more about these HIT functions in terms of cost, visibility, and management, let's see how these added features from TradeLens can complement our customers' experience. Back to you, Ian.
All right, thanks, Kevin. So as you saw earlier on from the dashboard, it actually show you multi-hubs across all that you have set up. It show you what's coming in from the first leg on water and what's within the hub itself and what will be going out, and it just kind of give you a visibility in terms of what it will cost if you continue to hold your inventory there. So having said that, you will probably think about how we actually populate all this data to give you a one view visibility across multiple hubs. So let's now dive into how we actually look at the first leg as well as how you actually manage the second leg. So let's dive into it. Kevin?
Okay, so before we dive into TradeLens, let us just quickly take a recap on how Latin Polymer's journey looks like. And in terms of HIT, in terms of management, I think the Hub in Transit solution really allows you to manage the inventory and also the visibility of the processes happening through and from the hub. Whereas, for TradeLens, like Bohan mentioned earlier on as well, provides the overarching visibility from origin to destination across both these legs in real time. And the TradeLens journey begins the moment when your shipment booking is confirmed and ends when the empty container is returned. And everything in between, it's trackable with the 128 different event milestones available today. And with this, you can now have control and visibility of your shipments, not just in real time, but also on demand. And for this demo, we will be following Latin Polymer, who uses both the hub in transit solution and trade lane solution to ship chemicals from Argentina to an undetermined location in Southeast Asia. And for the purpose of this demo, let's assume that the shipment has successfully reached the Singapore hub for the first leg. And this is where the business team will now decide which end locations to move their products to, depending on the market situation. And you might be thinking, how can Latin Polymer manage the visibility of its shipments, not just only from the first leg to Singapore, but also on the last leg to their end customers? In most existing solutions in the market today, visibility is fragmented, and obtaining end-to-end container visibility is often going to be a hassle. This is, however, one of TradeLand's key strengths. Since HIT has already managed the first leg of the booking, let's assume Latin Polymer has now decided to ship the chemicals to Bangkok in view of its sudden demand surge. This shorter lead time and flexibility made possible by the hub in transit solution, or HIT, can now be complemented by the end-to-end visibility that TradeLands can provide by bringing the partners on board. And let me just quickly show you how this will work. I'm going to share another screen where it will show you how the TradeLands online portal will look like. And essentially what will happen is that for every customer that uses TradeLands, we will have an online portal, which we will see in a minute. And okay, here we go. So this is how the TradeLands online portal looks like. And what you're seeing on screen is the homepage of the TradeLands Shipment Manager. And on this portal, you can do a number of things, including getting visibility of your shipments. So I'll just scroll down to quickly let you have a flavor of how the portal looks like. You could also customize notifications, and you could also be planning and booking your next shipments online. But the focus of today's demo will, however, be on the visibility portion, where we will follow Latin Polymer's journey navigating real-time shipment visibility. And there are many ways we can search for things on TradeLands. I mean, you can search using different parameters. And what is really important about TradeLands is that we have a lot of different extensive search parameters available. So you can search by the BL number, the container number, the HS code, which is largely relevant in the chemical industry because of the way we categorize our chemicals, or even searching by the commodity itself. Let's say if you are shipping a specific HDPE or any specific kind of chemical. And on top of that, you could even search by the exporter name. You could even search by the 3PL agent that you're working with, the import customs at the destination side, and of course the banks that you're working with. And this really gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of convenience when it comes to searching for your shipments. And this is like an all-in-one stop shop for you to get visibility for everything. And let's say for Latin Polymer, in most cases, we have the BL number readily on hand. So let's just try searching quickly for our consignment using that format for the first leg. I'll just copy and paste BL number into this. Okay. Okay, so this is what is reflected over here. And we see that on a high level, there's a lot of information about the consignment, and it's from Argentina to Singapore. And there are a lot of information like the vessel departure time, the vessel arrival time. You could even see the vessel name, the commodity that you're shipping, and the respective HS code in just a matter of clicks. And what's special about this is that all of this information is published automatically by the ocean carrier, and this also reduces any manual efforts on your end. That's not all. TradeLands also uses blockchain technology to ensure auditability of all this information you see. So for example, let us take a look at the transport plans. And you're looking at two transport plans. You might be wondering why there are two versions, version 1 and current plan. The current version highlights simply the latest plan, which in the past will be overwritten multiple times when there are changes. With version control, made possible with blockchain, you can now compare to see incremental changes, such as changes in the vessel journey, in the arrival or departure times. And over here, we immediately notice that the vessel journey has changed from Le Havre. So let's focus on this middle section over here. And then I'm going to click on the current version to show you what is the new middle portion, the change in the vessel journey. So this is Le Havre, and then we see that right now the middle location has changed to Southampton. And what this does is that this visibility upfront gives you and your team the foresight and also the convenience of managing and optimizing your supply chain, letting you make sure that you can arrange for exceptions or delays. So what about the second leg? How do we get visibility from start to end? Now that I've shown you the first leg, you might be wondering, how can TradeLens provide the end-to-end visibility for Latin polymer? So in the hub in transit solution, the container being shipped remains the same and carries the same unique ID. And as such, when you search by the container number on the TradeLens search engine, you are essentially able to see all results connected by the container number, and you are able to see everything, regardless of whether they're shipped by a different carrier, shipped by a different BL number, or any carrier numbers as well. So we are able to show you the journey from start to end. So let me just quickly show you a demo on how it actually looks like. So I'll just paste in the container number over here very quickly. All right, so over here we see two consignments carrying the same exact container that I was searching for, with the later consignments appearing higher in the list. And if we look at the data here, you immediately notice that the first leg has already been completed in July, and the second leg from Singapore to Bangkok has yet to happen. And simply by searching through the container number, you're now able to quickly follow the container journey, despite having different consignment bookings attached to it, from both historical data and from shipments which have yet to happen. And this really gives you a lot of control and flexibility when it comes to management. Furthermore, visibility is not the only thing that we provide on TradeLens. I think, like Samuel has mentioned earlier on, documents are also a very key part of the visibility that we provide. And let me just quickly show you this. So on TradeLens, you can really upload, view, download various documents on the platform. And this view is similarly shared across with your entire supply chain. And over here, let's see, we have a variety of documents that you can upload. So SIs, booking confirmation, seaway bills. And this means for Latin Polymer, a seamless sharing of documents with the port authorities or supply chain partners on the destination site in Bangkok in just a matter of clicks. The auditability and convenience of making instantaneous changes can help you facilitate a smoother product flow in a matter of seconds. And it's something that you will require significant effort in the past. Now I'm going to show you how a structured document looks like by clicking on this seaway bill. And similar to the transport plan, you see we have different versions of the document over here. And whenever any incremental changes are made to the document, you now have complete visibility on who are making those changes, what time it has happened. On top of this, I'll just show you quickly how the structured seaway bill looks like. And this is the industry standard. So despite having different carrier bookings or having to book your shipments on different sites, this is how the portal will look like on TradeLens. And this is a standard industry-based format. So you might be wondering, okay, so Kevin, I don't just only ship structured documents, right? Not just only seaway bills. What about certificate of origins? Those kind of documents which are in JPEG or in PDF. And fret not, because TradeLens also allows you to share unstructured documents as well. And I'll just quickly show you an example of how a certificate of origin looks like, so that the destination partners can also know that your products are actually secured from the origin side, giving you the credibility you need. So this is how the certificate of origin looks like. It's just like any of the other documents, but now you have a seamless management tool that allows you to easily upload, share, and download these documents if you choose to, easily in just a matter of clicks. And don't forget that you will no longer need to use emails, because tracking emails in multiple different versions can be a hassle. And now TradeLens does everything for you. So you can be assured that the documents you're looking at will always be the latest versions. And even if there were changes, you will know who are making those changes. And apart from documents just being uploaded on the consignment level, we are also able to attach specific container documents. And what are some examples? It could be a dangerous goods request. And in the chemicals industry, it's very common to be shipping some explosive products and some dangerous goods. And this TradeLens allows us to really quickly upload some of these documents and attach to the container, allowing not just you, but also the supply chain partners managing that specific container to have immediate access to those documents. So let me just refresh this and show you. Okay, so this is how a dangerous good request can look at on our platform. It doesn't need to look like this for your case, but we just want to show that the unstructured documents can come in PDF, can come in JPEG, And we really allow you a lot of flexibility and control on the documents that you submit and share with your supply chain partners. On top of that, if there are changes, you know that the latest version can be trusted. So now that we've seen all of this different information, you also want to let everyone know that TradeLens is not merely a visibility tool. It is also an ecosystem and platform solution that allows you to digitize you and your partner's supply chain via a one-stop shop. And as of today, there are over 300 organizations already part of the ecosystem and can help you to provide the global coverage you need across carriers, truckers, and more. TradeLens can complement many of your existing chemical solutions, including the hub in transit one, to provide and offer more complete visibility and flexibility for your shipments. Leverage our digital solutions and ecosystem today to help you become a resilient partner for your customers and accelerate your journey towards becoming a collaborative, dynamic, and sustainable supply chain. Thank you, and over to you, Ian.
Thanks, Kevin. So I hope you guys do capture the value of this solution can, in this particular case, of course, deliver to Latin Polymers. And perhaps you can already imagine in the back of your mind how you can value add this solution to your business. So let's do a recap of the end-to-end supply chain in this, again, in this case of the Latin Polymers from the origin plant that is based out of Argentina. So TradeLens provide the full first leg visibility from Argentina into either Malaysia, Portland, or Singapore hub. So our HIT, our hub in transit dashboard, provide you the inventory status across the multiple hubs. And upon receiving the final orders, TradeLens again show you the milestone of the entire transport plan until it arrive at the final port of discharge, the final destination country. So now with the effective execution, so this solution does able to eliminate friction between you, your supply chain partners, and even your customers with all the trusted document exchange. And with a hub in transit solution and with the strategic location of this hub, it definitely able to reduce the order lead time from, in this case of the Latin Polymers, from 32 days to 7 days, which is counted from the day you start to ship out from the second leg from the hub itself. So this not only reduce the lost sales, Latin Polymer actually sees an increase in their Asia market shares. Now, again, back to this case, Latin Polymer can also determine which batches they are coming in to the end of the free storage time within of what the ports offer to them, and what are the free batches that is coming to the end of the D&D time, which is what the carriers offer to them. Again, that reduce the expenses, unnecessary expenses for additional port storage as well as D&D charges. Same thing with Latin Polymer, they can exchange documents securely, which is what Kevin had demonstrated to you through TradeLens blockchain platform, and that reduce the amount of the entire transportation milestone and improve your customer service to your customer. Now, with the hub in transit solution, again, what Boha earlier on mentioned, it definitely able to reduce the inventory holding, thus reduce your working capital. And with this flexibility, you are able to convert inventory storage opportunity to a commercial sales tool that can boost your revenues. And not to forget, it is scalable. So as and when you expand further to the markets, you can build or strategically locate more, set up more hubs, and that we can actually grow with you. I hope you enjoy that, and back to you, Nico.
Thanks, Ian and Kevin, for sharing the Latin Polymer case study and a very clear demonstration on how the platform can provide or looks like to the user. So we spoke about the hub in transit, which is a virtual warehouse located closer to your market. It is a solution that can be used or provided regardless of the ocean carrier. Likewise, with TradeLens, it provides the visibility, security, and ease across the supply chain network. And the combined value of both solutions do give you the much required resilience that the supply chain required today. So let's move on to the questions and answer session. I would like to invite all of our speakers to come on screen. I see quite a few comments and questions here in the chat box. Please do continue. We will get back to you on the questions and interests that we are not able to take right now. So let's see. I'll address this to Patrick. Patrick, how relevant are the solutions we heard today in terms of the mega trends you highlighted at the beginning?
Okay, relevance to the mega trends. Yeah, I highlighted two of the mega trends at the beginning of the webinar. The first one was supply chain digitization. Now, we've been talking about TradeLens today, and I see that that is clearly one answer in addressing that mega trend of digitization. The important thing about TradeLens is that it's a collaboration platform, right? So this is not, we're not talking about an isolated logistical silo around digitization. It's a platform, it's collaborative. And I think that's extremely important. And beyond that also, I mean, it's broader than just looking at the digitization of the physical logistics. So TradeLens also covers aspects which are fiscal, covers aspects which are to do with a compliance within the value chain that you as customers have. And on that basis, I think that this is a real contribution. So TradeLens is a real contribution and has real relevance to that digital megatrend. Now, the second one that I highlighted at the beginning of today's session was agility. So agility in supply chains. And if we take the hub in transit concept, I think we've heard today very clearly that it helps you as a shipper in two ways. So the first one is, sure, you're closer to your end market, so you can actually be more agile in responding to your customers' demand. That's very clear, and we heard how that lead time reduced in number of days quite significantly. So there's agility there, but also I think let's also look at being more agile for your own requirements. Yeah, if we put the customers to one side. If your business priorities change, yeah, especially when you have a push supply chain, perhaps there's a better deal which you want to allocate a particular volume to. And with the hub in transit concept, you aren't committed to that final mile delivery yet, so you can still switch and change. And I think with those two areas, being able to service your end customers better, that's a big tick in the box, being able to more agilely respond to the demand, but also to flex and be agile around your own business priorities in a push supply chain. Then those things come together, and I think also there it's a concrete contribution and highly relevant to that chain agility, that trend, the agility in supply chains. So I hope that addresses that question. I hope I understood it correctly as well. Back to you, Nika.
Yes, thanks, Patrick. Very clear on that. There's a very practical questions here that I would like to address to Samuel. So Samuel, this is regarding TradeLens. So there is 300 plus supply or network partners on TradeLens today. The question here is, what if some of my partners, my suppliers, are not on this network today? Are we still able to see the end-to-end visibility with such a gap?
And thank you, Nico, for the question. And it's a very real one. Now, the unique value of TradeLens is that it's not only an online solution, but it's also an ecosystem and an accelerator for digitization. Now, in event that your supply chain partner is not on the network, we can easily work with them to bring them on board. And TradeLens is flexible. We have options such as we will allow, provide them with a ID to log in to the UI. We also allow API. We have open API integration if they have a system for integration together. Now, through such options, it helps them in streamlining and digitizing their processes, providing them real-time, accurate, and rich data to that system and their processes as well, and providing you the end-to-end visibility that you need today. Now, we know that supply chain is not a one-man show today, and that's why TradeLens has a strong emphasis on its network, its ecosystem, and its collaboration features the ability to quickly onboard new partners into the solution, into the platform, and work together and share information. Nico.
Right. Thanks. So we will help to onboard a pretty easy, seamless process. Your partners on board as well. There's a related questions here regarding the real-time visibility that we see, or that is a benefit of TradeLens. So my partner is on board. What if this partner do not upload information on time? How then can we then ensure that the data seen on TradeLens is real-time, accurate, reliable?
Great question, Nico, and it's a very practical one, right? It doesn't mean that when sometimes we provide the access to them, they will necessarily provide the status updates on time to the system. But the magic of TradeLens technology is that it does not just depend on your supply chain's partners updating TradeLens deliberately. Rather, everything is automated. And you saw in the ecosystems today, we are also connected with the other industry partners, from the carriers to the ports and whatnot, right? And everything is automated. And what I mean is that when your partners update its own system in-house, right, that information can also be automatically pushed into TradeLens, reflecting on the data that is relevant to what you see in your local system. And this is in addition to the additional data that you see from the carriers and those industry players in the ecosystem. Now, on top of that, we use multiple data source, data validation logic that help us determine, for example, whether the data published by the trucker or the terminal for a get-in event is the latest. Now, this ensures that we provide the latest information and data, and ensure that data is verified and is accurate based on the collaboration from the various sources in the TradeLens ecosystem. Nico.
Right. So there are multiple sources, and we don't rely to a single party to update in time accurately as well. All right. I will take the next questions and address this to Boha. Is there any restriction in the hub location or the number of hubs that can be managed in the hub in transit solution? Let me just add one more. How many hubs are available today?
Good question, and to an extent a little bit broad on the restriction side, but per se there are no restrictions. Thinking from a physical network, so Maersk own physical assets where we can store. We have terminals where we can hold that cargo. So we have within Maersk a network. But additionally, having transit also works with partners, with your partners, and those are also managed as part of the solution. So this is so to speak, a multi-carrier solution where we equally work within the network that we have in Maersk, as well with the network that can be provided through other partners. And that means that that limitation is limited. And the dashboards, the visibility that you have seen actually covers and anchors for both. So you would get the same experience. Right now, we have 13 hubs strategically distributed. Those are the ones that are active, but like I said before, it's not a restriction. So we can look into what are the hubs that make more sense for your business, and if additional hubs need to be added, we have that capability.
Right. So I hear restriction on the hub location is restricted. So that's basically no restriction on that, and it really depends on the need. It's not about the number of hubs. It's probably the network of the ocean transport as well, where it makes sense to have a hub in your current flow. Let me take the last questions here. Can you evaluate the potential gain of implementing a hub in transit program? And that's to Boha.
Okay. Yes, there are a couple of angles here. Patrick already referred at the start of the session to a use case we have with Syngenta, and there is another one from a Middle East company that we can have as a showcase. And then you also saw during the presentation the case of a Latin American polymer company. So that hopefully helps you already to see where the benefits are coming from and get a little bit of an idea on how it could influence your supply chain. If this looks appealing to you and you see, okay, I could actually benefit, I would like to know a little bit more. We also have a calculator, we have a tool where by getting a little bit closer to your business and what is your inventory and understanding a little bit more of your flows, we can come to a evaluation of the impact of the value that having transit could bring to your business. So we could do a modeling of that and understand a bit more how what it could mean specifically for you.
Great, thanks. So the real answer to that is to talk to us, give us more information, and we'll be able to give you the calculation and what it means to your business in terms of the potential gain. All right, we are at the end of our session. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate you spending the hour with us. We hope that this hour has been inspiring, valuable to you in transforming to the new barrier in chemical supply chain. So do follow us on social media or visit our website to receive more information, latest updates, and invites to such webinar in the future. So thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Have a nice evening, everyone. Goodbye.